The devil uses fear to take our attention off of God and put it on worry, put it on anxiety, make us be so afraid of what is to come or what may happen or what we think is about to happen that we completely forget that God is our rescue. We completely forget who God is in that moment, and that to even get out of what we're trying to get out of, it is going to take God leading us out of it. So, one of the reasons why I started this channel is to walk with you on this journey of learning how to wait on God, learning how to surrender to God, and learning how to fight fear when you feel like the world is crashing in on you. So today, what I wanted to talk about was my journey of fighting fear in the moment, and the fact that I have still not been successful at figuring out a way to completely lean on God in that moment and not let the circumstances that I'm experiencing drive me and my focus off of God and take me in a path that not only robs me of the joy of today, not only robs me of appreciating what I am, who I am, whose I am, and also just enjoying the things that God has provided me in this moment. So, a couple of things I want to talk about today. Number one is that when we are in that moment, so let me give you an example, and I've used this in a video that I just recorded. It's about finances. Most of the time, the immediacy of financial challenges lets fear grips us. And so the example I gave was that you open your bank account and then all of a sudden you get the reality check that you have bills coming up, mortgage, car note, insurance, electricity, etc. And you know the money you have there is not going to cover it. And you know those bills are coming. And the question is, what's going to happen? So immediately, the devil takes your mind off of God, because what should you be doing? You should hand it over to God and say, God, I know, and you know, I don't have the money to pay these bills. They have to be paid. I am doing everything you've told me to do, and still, I don't have the resources to do these and pay these obligations that I have. And so I'm trusting you. You said, your word said, you are not going to give me more than I can take. Your word said that you are not going to leave me alone hanging, and that I should trust you and bring everything to you with prayer and thanksgiving, and you will take care of it. That should be my response. But I am looking at the bill, and I am plotting and planning, and I'm living in the future. And it may be weeks away, it may be a month away. Right now, as I'm speaking to you, I'm thinking about something that's going to happen in July. It's May, July 20th, and it's May. It's not even May 20th yet. I am living 2 months ahead. And that is how I live my life always, because the thing that has made me a good entrepreneur, being able to plan 2, 3, 4 steps ahead of the competition, being able to anticipate threats, being able to mitigate them, that also affects me personally in my walk with God, because then I always want to control the situation. I always think that I need to take action to prevent something rather than surrendering to God. And so what 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 I want to tell you today is that I have acknowledged that, and I've been trying to figure out a way to really, in the moment when fear grips you. So I'm trying to solve three different things. The first one is the fear part, where fear grips you and you have obligations, you have things that you're fearing may happen. How do you work through it? So one of the things I have been constantly trying to do is that I acknowledge and recognize that the fear is happening. I know it. My chest tightens, my heart, my mood changes immediately, and I'm going through it. And immediately I should, one, recognize what's happening and realize that if I continue that down that path, I am choosing fear instead of choosing God. So what I've been trying to learn is choose first and then reach. So I explain what that means. That is what I've been working on, because believe me, this thing has been going on for over 15 years now. That God has been trying to work on me to learn to surrender, to live in the moment, to worry about just today and leave tomorrow to God. I live in tomorrow. And so I am constantly in pain. I am constantly suffering internally because I am living in tomorrow rather than appreciating today and living in today. And yes, it's easy for somebody to say, trust God. Believe me, I have I have every faith in God. And it may sound like a contradiction, but I'm being honest. In my Christian journey, I believe God. And maybe I should back up a little bit. There was a time in my life where I felt like my effort and because I am the hardest worker I know. I am the hardest worker I know. And it's not necessarily just like quantity of work, but creativity, ingenuity, resilience, persistence, grit. I have it all. And it's not bragging, but my life story has been a story of struggle and overcoming. And a lot of that was because I was willing to just power through difficult and painful circumstances to get to where I am. And I think that's important. And for a while, I credited my success to that. And then God took me through something that only He can do and get my attention, where I tested everything that I know, my experience, knowledge, expertise, creativity, persistence, perseverance, grit, and that wasn't enough. And so I have come to the point where I know without a shadow of a doubt that everything that I have and everything that I'm able to get, everything I'm able to achieve would not have happened if it wasn't for God. And that took God taking me through that journey to get there. So I want to put that out there to preface what I'm about to say. So when I say I believe that everything that I have, I owe it to God, and I believe that everything I'm going to achieve in the future is because of God, I know that in my heart of hearts, that is true. But then when I'm in the reality of day-to-day life and I am dealing with obligations and the fact that I don't want to disappoint my family, I don't want to disappoint my wife, I don't want to disappoint my kids. And there are things that I want for them also, and there are things I want for myself. And when those things are not happening and there is nowhere to turn to get any form of help, and I know that God is my only help and I cannot see Him move in any of these areas, then fear grips me. And so what I've been working on is to acknowledge that fear in the moment and then choose God, because I know that fear robs me of my focus on God. I could have the best morning devotion, pray, read the Bible, have good sleep. There is nothing better in my life than getting good sleep, waking up in the morning, going downstairs to my home office, doing my devotion, praying, and leaving the house feeling like, man, today is going to be a good day at the office. And then I get in and something happens that shakes me to my core and then takes my focus off the armor of God that I've put on. And now I am gripped by fear and anxiety. And how do I deal with that? And so now I've learned that, okay, I need to choose. So I choose God, because then I'm and one of the reasons why choosing God in that moment is important is that what I have learned, and I am actually working on a book that someday I'll finish. And one of the central principles in that book that I realized recently is that it's important to choose God in that moment. because both fear and faith require you to believe in something unseen, right? The source of my fear is that I'm living in the future. I am thinking about things that haven't happened yet. I'm not thinking about something that's going to happen today. I'm thinking about tomorrow, next week, 2 months from now, in the fall, and it's May. And so I am thinking about things that haven't happened yet, things I haven't seen happen yet. And I'm living in that and letting it control my life. On the other hand, there is God. And my faith in him is also, faith is the evidence of, I don't want to butcher that Bible verse, even though I know it by heart and I'm drawing a blank, but you know what I mean. The evidence of what is not seen. And so both of faith and fear is about things unseen. So if you have to live in two worlds of things you cannot see, God through faith and fear, which through the devil, then you need to choose. And you need to recognize in that moment that you are subconsciously choosing fear if you are living in it. And so one of the things I've been training myself is to recognize that I am choosing fear and to get out of that and choose God. And then the next step is reach. So the whole title of the book is Choose, Then Reach. But until I'm able to figure it out, I'm still figuring it out. So the reach part then is the next step. So in that moment where in the middle of the day I am consumed by this thing, now I have chosen God. Now I need to reach. I need to go for a walk and pray. I need to turn on some music and praise. I need to call a friend if it's gripping, you know, call a friend or somebody that I know I can talk to. Um, ask my wife to pray with me or pray for me or remember me in her prayers. So it's important to reach, and there's so many tools to reach for. Meditation, just getting out of the office and walking around and just breathing the air, and just like it changes, because once you're in front of that computer and you're looking at whatever is staring at you, it can take you to places that you don't want to be. And so the whole point I want to make today is that the journey that I want to go on with you in this moment with this channel is threefold. Number one, how to wait on God. Seasons where you know God has told you to do this, you are not, you're obedient, you're on that path, but nothing is working. It's because God is preparing you, or asking, or helping you learn a virtue, or helping you avoid disaster. Even in the path that he wants you to go on, there may be disaster paths on the way, and he's holding you steady to avoid something before he pivots you in the right place. Even though you are within the sphere where he wants you to be, he may be building character in you. You may not be ready to handle what he's about to give you. And even though you're on the right path, he needs to bring out that character strength and resilience, or whatever it is that he knows you need in order to be able to thrive in that new place. Sometimes circumstances have changed and he wants you to pivot. And until you pivot, nothing is going to move. And yes, I believe that even in the grand sphere of where God wants you to be, you may be on one path and he wants you to be on a different path, even though you are in the general vicinity of where he wants you. And so he will block this thing you're working on to get your attention to the other direction. There may be many reasons why, but you have to learn to wait. And so learning to wait is one of the things I want to talk through on this path, because I'm not very good at it. The second one is fighting fear, which I've told you that I'm working on a framework that allows me to choose and then reach. And then the third one is surrender. Maybe surrender is at the heart of all of it. For me, letting everything go. My nature as a strategist, I worry. I'm a warrior. And I also live in the future, letting everything go and living in the moment. and trusting that God will take care of tomorrow. And my wife is very good at that. And I've been trying to learn from her unsuccessfully. I can't. I have been unable to. And so I want to go on this journey and figure out what are the ingredients that allows you to surrender while you wait on God and fight fear in all of that. So I hope you stay with me and go on this journey together with me.